I mean, Mr. Carter has nothing to do with Mr. Combs' case or Mr. Combs. They knew each other professionally for a number of years, just like in all professions.
More than 10 years of friendship couldn't save Diddy from getting tossed clean under the bus by none other than Jay-Z. But baby, Diddy might just be sliding on his designer gloves and tossing the heat right back. Word on the curb is that Diddy allegedly snitched, yep, pointed the finger straight at Jay-Z during a hush-hush legal meeting, dragging Hav back into the chaos like a plot twist from a BET thriller. There's a whole storm swirling around this Diddy situation, so let's break it down. This courtroom tea starts bubbling with a civil lawsuit filed in December 2024 that ended up pulling both Sean Diddy Combs and Sean Jay-Z Carter into the hot seat over some shocking claims. This lawsuit, which been spreading like wildfire through media outlets and lighting up timelines on Twitter, X, accused the two rap legends of being involved in a shocking incident with a 13-year-old girl way back in 2000. These claims are beyond serious, sparking heavy conversations about unchecked power, accountability, and how these jaw-dropping accusations get handled when big names are in the mix.
What made you want to come forward?
Because I think that I've been quiet long enough.
This legal bombshell came courtesy of attorney Tony Busby, who's been snatching headlines left and right thanks to his wild track record with headline-making cases. When the internet got wind of the situation, Jay-Z shut it down quick, calling the whole thing a desperate shakedown and swearing up and down he wasn't cutting any checks to make it disappear. Meanwhile, Diddy had his own pile of legal heat, including allegations tied to organized crime, illicit schemes, and other serious mess, with his big court date locked in for May 2025. With all this drama unraveling at once, fans and media alike were locked in like it was a hip-hop soap opera. To really catch the full picture, we gotta rewind the tape. These two music moguls go way back to the 90s New York rap scene. Diddy founded Bad Boy Records in 1993 and signed none other than the notorious Biggie, while Jay-Z was building his legacy with Reasonable Doubt in 1996, dropping it through the label he launched with Dame Dash and Kareem Biggs Burke in 1994. Their paths kept crossing thanks to mutual allies, especially Biggie, who was tight with both of them. Jay-Z and Biggie joined forces on Brooklyn's Finest for Hov's debut album, which ended up being an early link to Diddy's Bad Boy fam. Even though the East Coast rap scene was a battlefield, insiders say their early vibes were all mutual respect, not smoke, with both power players eyeing major moves beyond just music. But everything changed when Biggie was tragically taken in March 1997, sending shockwaves through both of their lives. Diddy poured all that grief into his debut No Way Out, bringing Jay-Z on for Young G's alongside a posthumous Biggie verse. Jay-Z later returned the love by featuring Diddy on I Know What Girls Like off his sophomore album In My Lifetime Volume 1. Those collabs locked in their business bond during one of the hardest times in hip-hop, with Diddy allegedly seeing Jay-Z as the one who could carry the torch left behind after the loss of Biggie and Pac. By the late 90s, both had gotten tangled up in headline-making legal messes that actually pulled them closer. Jay-Z caught a serious charge after allegedly poking record producer Lance Rivera at the Kit Kat Club in December 1999, supposedly over some shady bootleg drama. He ended up cutting a deal and walked away with just 3 years probation. Later on, Rivera came out claiming Jay wasn't even the one who did it, saying he took the heat for someone else. Meanwhile, Diddy had his own chaos after that notorious nightclub situation near Times Square with J-Lo. He dodged the more serious charges but still got hit with 3 years probation, while his up-and-coming artist Shine took the fall and did almost a decade. After both walked away without major jail time, word was they grew even closer over their shared run-ins. In the early 2000s, the two were often spotted kicking it at industry events and Diddy's iconic house parties, moving like a united front. As the 2000s rolled in, Jay-Z and Diddy kept stacking power, side by side and camera ready. Their business game grew too. Diddy co-produced 6 joints on Jay-Z's 2007 American Gangster album and helped roll out Jay-Z and R. Kelly's collab, The Best of Both Worlds, in 2002. They even shared top billing at big concerts in 2010, making their tight bond crystal clear. Their friend circles blended too, especially after Jay locked it down with Beyonce around 2001. This power clique became a red carpet staple, always showing up and showing out at elite events. They popped up at Diddy's 4th of July bash in 2000, his epic 35th birthday in 2004, and his 39th blowout in 2008. You'd even see them linking up at MTV VMA after parties in 2004, alongside Beyonce, Kim K, and a bunch of Hollywood's finest. And they didn't just pop bottles, they gave back too. In 2005, they teamed up to drop $1 million for Hurricane Katrina relief, with Jay-Z saying, "This is our community." Their bond seemed to thrive as they built separate empires. Diddy with Sean John and Ciroc, Jay-Z with Rockaware, Tidal, and Deuce. But let's not forget that moment, the one that had people squinting hard at Screamfest in 2007, when cameras caught Diddy patting Jay-Z's backside not once, but twice. That clip came roaring back in 2023 when Diddy's behavior was under fire, and 50 Cent wasted no time clowning both online. It didn't stir up drama back then, but years later, the internet had a field day breaking it all down. The 2010s were their golden stretch. Fans crowned them kings of black excellence, both in business and culture. Diddy was a fixture at Jay-Z's pre-Grammy Rock Nation brunches, even giving an emotional speech in 2020 about unity and black mogul power, with Jay giving approving nods. Jay-Z later honored him at the 2022 BET Awards, praising his leadership. In 2016, Diddy called Jay family during a show, saying they'd been through everything together. He even told James Corden that Jay-Z was one of the rare few who could call him Sean like that, showing how close they really were. That era felt like their peak as brothers in business, symbols of hip-hop's grown man success story. But their bond, spanning decades, was never just about friendship. It was also a masterclass in money moves and cultural dominance. While the early years were filled with unity and big energy, things got murky when legal smoke rolled in again, casting shadows over what used to seem unshakable. But the real storm started brewing in 2023 and 2024, when Diddy got hit with a flood of explosive claims that would end up pulling Jay-Z right into the mess too, stirring up whispers about a shady courtroom showdown that had folks buzzing non-stop, despite no hard proof it actually happened. The allegations and crumbling ties. The bond between Diddy and Jay-Z, once seen as unshakable, started unraveling fast in 2023 when one messy accusation after another came crashing down on Diddy. In November 2023, his ex Cassie Ventura shook the industry with a chilling lawsuit accusing him of abuse, opening the gates for more bombshell claims to drop on the bad boy mogul. Things took a nosedive when Diddy got cuffed in September 2024 on serious federal charges: racketeering, trafficking, and involvement in illegal acts, with court set for May 5th, 2025. The claims were wild, dragging in Diddy's infamous all-white parties, and something folks were calling freak-offs, with some lawsuits even naming parties that Jay-Z allegedly hit up. As Diddy's legal issues piled higher, the public started throwing side eyes at Jay-Z, questioning how deep he was in, given how close they've been for years. Folks like Jaguar Wright, during an appearance on Piers Morgan Uncensored in October 2023, even claimed Jay-Z and Beyonce were tangled up in the mess, though she dropped no receipts, and Piers ended up apologizing after Jay's lawyers allegedly turned up the heat.
We getting tighter, you know what I'm saying? And united we stand, and ain't nothing else.
Black excellence, they're sitting there like, yeah.
50 Cent, who lives to stir the pot, didn't waste a second clowning both Diddy and Jay-Z, posting jokes about Jay vanishing into thin air while Diddy's chaos exploded. Meanwhile, Jay-Z stayed mum, keeping his focus on Tidal and Rock Nation. Classic Hob, keeping a clean image and dodging drama. But then came December 8th, 2024, and all hell broke loose when a revamped civil suit accused both Jay-Z and Diddy of violating a 13-year-old girl at an MTV VMAs afterparty back in 2000. The accuser, going by Jane Doe, said both men assaulted her while another female celeb just watched. The lawsuit was filed under New York's Gender-Motivated Violence Protection Act, which gives victims more time to pursue civil justice even decades later. That loophole is how she was able to bring this case a whole 24 years after the incident allegedly went down. Per her complaint, back in 2000, she was a 13-year-old girl living in Rochester, New York. She and a friend headed to to New York City hoping to catch the VMAs at Radio City Music Hall, but didn't have tickets. While outside the venue, she tried talking to limo drivers to find a way into the event or the after party. She claimed one limo driver, allegedly tied to Combs, told her she had the look Diddy wanted and invited her to a party happening that night. He told her to come back to the limo after he dropped Combs off. She says he then drove her to a big white mansion with a gated horseshoe driveway. Once she arrived, she was asked to sign some papers she assumed were confidentiality agreements, but she never actually read them. Inside the mansion, she said celebs were everywhere and drugs were flowing, especially cocaine. She claimed a waitress handed her a drink that tasted bitter. After a few sips, she started feeling off, woozy and disoriented, so she went to find a room to rest in. The suit claims that while she was lying down, Combs, Carter, and a mystery female celeb, referred to as Celebrity B, came into the room. She alleged that Carter held her down and assaulted her while Combs and the female celebrity just watched. Then, Combs allegedly crossed a serious line, while Jay-Z and a well-known female celeb reportedly just watched it all unfold. According to the woman, she tried to fight back, but Jay-Z allegedly silenced her by putting his hand over her mouth. She said Diddy attempted to make her perform something explicit, but she clocked him in the throat, giving herself just enough time to grab her clothes, throw them on, and dash out the house in a panic. She said she ran barefoot to a nearby gas station, trembling, and called her father to come rescue her. The lawsuit says she's been battling PTSD and depression ever since that horrifying night, carrying the weight of what happened behind closed doors.
She says she ran to a gas station where she called her father, who picked her up.
We rode home in silence. She didn't ask me what happened.
Jay-Z wasn't about to sit quiet while these accusations were flying. He clapped back fast and hard. On December 8th, 2024, he put out a no-nonsense statement through Roc Nation's official X account, blasting the accusations as outrageous and ridiculous. He accused Tony Busby of sending a shady demand letter in a calculated attempt to scare him into paying hush money. Jay-Z didn't hold back, saying, "No, sir, that letter had the opposite effect. It fired me up to call you out for the scam you're pulling loud and clear. You're not getting a dime." He stressed the gravity of the claims, calling for a criminal investigation instead of a civil suit, insisting something that Sirius deserved real justice. He also opened up about how painful it was to explain all this to his 12-year-old daughter, Blue Ivy. Jay-Z's legal pit bull, Alex Spiro, filed a motion the very next day, December 9th, 2024, asking the court to throw the case out or force the woman to reveal her name. Spiro said Jay-Z had the right to know who was behind these scandalous claims and accused Busby of using the legal system to grab headlines while wrecking Jay-Z's reputation. In a jaw-dropping twist, Jay-Z's camp also denied he and Diddy had any real friendship, framing their connection as just business. That claim came straight from Spiro on December 17th, 2024, and people weren't buying it. Fans were side-eyeing the denial hard, especially considering all those interviews, award show selfies, and Diddy's old comments about how tight they were. Twitter was lit up with receipts, from their music collabs to those flashy Hamptons photos.
We also seen Puff say, you know, my brother Jay-Z, this is my brother, we're brothers. So when you hear that term, it makes people assume that you guys are closer than just associates.
The "we're not that close" narrative got even messier when famed attorney Joe Tacopina, who refused to defend Diddy, chimed in during February 2025 and casually hinted that the two weren't even on good terms. That added fuel to the theory that Jay-Z was trying to wash his hands clean of the drama. But the public, they weren't buying it, not after decades of bromance vibes and shared stages. As the legal firestorm grew, Jane Doe sat down with NBC News in mid-December 2024 to spill more about what she says went down. She confessed that she stayed quiet for over 2 decades because she thought no one would believe a young girl over 2 music titans. But she also admitted there were holes in her story. For example, she claimed her dad drove 5 hours to get her, but he couldn't recall the trip, and she said she saw Benji Madden that night, even though he wasn't in New York at the time. Jay-Z's lawyers pounced on that last bit fast. They highlighted her comment about bumping into Benji Madden, whose camp confirmed he was actually touring in the Midwest during the VMAs. That detail, they said, was proof her memory couldn't be trusted. The press ran wild with that, and the internet started buzzing about whether this case was starting to fall apart under the weight of its own inconsistencies. They also pointed to photos that showed Jay-Z and Diddy elsewhere on the night in question, though it wasn't clear whether their entire timeline for the evening was fully airtight. Even with these gaps in her narrative, the woman behind the claim stood firm, saying, "You should always stand up for yourself and speak your truth." Advocates chimed in too, reminding folks that victims, especially those who may have been slipped something, often get the side details mixed up, which could explain the contradictions. Meanwhile, Busby was getting hit with some messy accusations of his own. Both Jay-Z and an unnamed male celeb listed as John Doe in a November 2024 lawsuit accused Busby of pulling a fast one, allegedly trying to shake them down with fake claims unless they handed over hush money. That John Doe lawsuit even alleged Busby had a whole strategy: target anyone in Combs' orbit and scare them into writing big checks to avoid headlines. Busby clapped back, saying none of that was true. He insisted his firm only pursued behind closed doors talks with Jay-Z and never demanded cash. He fired off claims that Jay-Z was leading a smear campaign against him, his clients, and his own family. Busby added that he wanted to handle things in court, not through media leaks and back and forths. Then, on December 27, 2024, U.S. District Judge Annalisa Torres gave the green light for the woman to keep her name under wraps, for now. But if the case moved forward, she might have to reveal her identity. Torres also didn't hold back. She scolded Jay-Z's lawyer, Alex Spiro, for constantly filing over-the-top motions packed with jabs and drama, saying it was wasting everyone's time and the court's patience. She shut down Jay-Z's attempt to get the case thrown out over holes in the woman's story, saying the facts still needed a proper courtroom deep dive. So even though things looked shaky, the court wasn't ready to toss the case just yet. Meanwhile, Diddy's legal squad, led by powerhouse attorney Tenny Garagos, tore the case apart, calling it nothing more than a messy stunt designed to squeeze cash out of A-listers. They fired back, saying this revamped complaint and that so-called extortion case against Mr. Busby shows his lawsuits against Combs for what they really are: blatant media plays. Combs, who was still behind bars after getting taken in back in September 2024, denied everything linked to the suit. His lawyers stood tall, saying they had full faith in the system and were sure the real story would come out. Then came the twist. On February 14th, 2025, the woman behind the accusations dropped her case against both Jay-Z and Combs with prejudice. That meant she couldn't circle back and file it again. Court docs didn't spill the tea on why she backed out, and her legal team kept it zipped. Jay-Z's lawyer, Alex Spiro, wasted no time celebrating, saying this bogus case never should have seen a courtroom, and now it's been dismissed for good. He said Jay faced the mess head on and didn't flinch, even when the heat turned up. Jay never paid off anyone, never dropped a dime. He stood tall and walked away with his name clean. Jay-Z himself added that the ordeal had rocked his family in a way that couldn't be undone with just a dismissal. Diddy's attorneys also took a victory lap, shading Busby in the process. Today's total dismissal by the 1.800 attorney is one more receipt that these lawsuits were never about truth, just smoke and mirrors. They pointed out that a bunch of Busby's lawsuits against Combs crumbled because the alleged victims didn't want to come forward publicly. But things took a wild twist on March 12, 2025, when ABC News dropped a report about a leaked recording where the accuser allegedly confessed Jay-Z never touched her, and even claimed Busby pushed her to drag Jay-Z into the mix. Now, even though nobody officially confirmed the tape was legit, the clip had folks questioning everything, from the case's credibility to what kind of legal games Busby might be playing. Once the lawsuit got tossed, Jay-Z wasn't just gonna walk away and let it slide. On March 3rd, 2025, he fired back with a defamation suit against Jane Doe and her legal team, including Busby, accusing them of scheming for clout and cash. He claimed Jane Doe told his reps that she made the whole thing up, possibly because Busby was leaning on her heavy to keep Jay-Z's name in the headlines. Jay-Z charged them with malicious prosecution, legal abuse, conspiracy, and straight-up character assassination. Busby didn't hold back either. He called Jay's suit nonsense and said Jane Doe was standing firm on her claims. He fired back that Jay-Z's private eyes were running around threatening his client and allegedly trying to pay folks off to invent lawsuits just to take him down. Busby argued that sending a demand letter is just how legal business works, not some kind of shady shakedown. As of March 2025, the back and forth was still live in court, with Busby vowing to fight back and framing Jay-Z's moves as an attempt to scare Jane Doe into silence. But Jay-Z's crew clapped back, saying that Doe didn't even know about the letter and that Busby reached out to her after it got sent. While all this messy courtroom drama kept spilling out into the public, one juicy rumor really caught fire: that Diddy pointed at Jay-Z in court and said something wild, but without any solid proof or legit outlets backing it up. That whole bit is still floating in gossip territory, part of the shady fog around this whole legal circus. Reality check: when the Jane Doe lawsuit got thrown out in February 2025, 2025, and that audio clip hinted she may have been pushed to drag Jay-Z's name into it. It flipped the whole situation on its head. Still, the damage was done. These claims kept shaking up both men's images, brands, and their whole dynamic with each other and the public eye. Jay-Z wasn't here for the games. When he hit back with that defamation suit, it was his way of letting folks know he wasn't about to let false talk mess with his name. His legal doc said the lies caused him emotional trauma, embarrassment, and put his family through unnecessary stress. He also claimed the false accusations led to serious money losses, more than $20 million in damage to Roc Nation, with dropped deals and contracts piling up. So yeah, this wasn't just about ego, it hit his bank account hard. The NFL, still locked in with Jay through that Roc Nation collab, stayed loyal during the firestorm. That dismissal with prejudice was a major win for Jay-Z, letting him hold on to his boss status and keep his major brand deals alive. With a money machine like Roc Nation, his title empire, and corporate alliances stacking high, Jay-Z knew this case wasn't just about clearing his name, it was about protecting everything he built. And when you're that public, proving defamation ain't a walk in the park. You gotta highlight how the accuser knowingly dropped false claims with full intent to cause harm. Jay-Z's relentless fight through this messy legal maze showed just how committed he was to clearing his name publicly, protecting his brand, partnerships, and his place in the culture. Meanwhile, Diddy stayed locked up at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, waiting on his federal trial for charges like exploitation, trafficking, racketeering, and transporting for prostitution. Unlike that civil suit which got tossed, these criminal charges could lock him up for years if convicted. The dismissal of Jane Doe's case barely moved the needle for Diddy. He still faced multiple civil lawsuits and heavy federal accusations. His legal squad kept shouting his innocence, but with all those allegations stacking up and him still behind bars, the outlook wasn't looking bright for the bad boy mogul. The public reaction? All over the map, showing how messy and divisive high-profile cases like this get. Online, Jay-Z's supporters celebrated the lawsuit dismissal, blasting his Roc Nation statement. They called the claims frivolous, baseless, and downright shocking. Fans gave him mad respect for refusing to settle quietly, with one tweet saying, when ABC News dropped that March 2025 report with a recording where the accuser supposedly admitted Jay-Z wasn't involved and that Busby pressured her to include him, social media exploded. People dragged Busby, accusing him of shady tactics and extortion, demanding he be held accountable. That recording made folks even more suspicious of Busby, with users recalling earlier allegations against him for trying to extort celebs, like that anonymous male celebs lawsuit from November 2024. After the dismissal, some posts hyped Beyonce and Jay-Z's comeback game, with a marker article calling it a major win. Others speculated about cracks in their marriage, but that tea had zero proof behind it. Not everyone was here for Jay-Z and Diddy's defense squad, though. Some critics stayed skeptical, pointing out how the powerful often dodge real consequences. Others were side-eyeing Jay-Z's hardball legal moves, like trying to unmask the accuser, a move many saw as an intimidation play. All this legal mess opened up bigger chats about accountability, power, and whether big names really get held to the same standard. Some experts said that just because the case got dismissed doesn't equal innocence. It might just be a legal technicality. The internet's reaction in December 2024 showed some serious bias at work. Psychologist Elizabeth Jeglick noted the halo effect, where fans refused to believe allegations because they clashed with Jay-Z's family man philanthropic image. Meanwhile, Diddy's past scandals had people more ready to believe the accusations against him, creating a double standard of skepticism. Different media outlets pushed their own angles too. NBC News focused on the accuser's story, Forbes dissected Jay-Z's PR game, and The Guardian critiqued hip-hop culture at large, all shaping how people reacted online. Twitter and Instagram blew these narratives up with clickbait headlines that had everyone hooked. That supposed courtroom moment where Diddy allegedly pointed at Jay-Z and said, "You know what happened?" No legit sources have confirmed it. This claim seems like social media noise and YouTube creators chasing views rather than real journalism. The timing doesn't even add up. Diddy was locked up awaiting trial while Jay-Z handled civil stuff separately, making a real face-to-face courtroom showdown nearly impossible. The relationship between Jay-Z and Diddy, once a shining example of hip-hop success and black entrepreneurship, came under intense scrutiny during these legal battles. Jay-Z's team denying any friendship or long-term bond with Diddy flat out contradicts years of collabs, public appearances, and both men's own words about how close they were. Jay-Z's distancing move got people wondering if celebrity friendships are ever genuine, or if everyone just bounces when serious allegations hit. Critics called out Jay-Z's silence as Diddy's legal mess piled up, saying he was just looking out for himself, shielding his own reputation and business empire. But Jay-Z's fans fired back, saying his reaction was exactly how it should have gone down, given how serious those claims were, and the total lack of proof tying him to Diddy's alleged mess. They argued Jay-Z had every right to come hard defending himself against what he called bogus accusations, no matter how close he once was to Diddy. This whole drama also shined a spotlight on the bigger picture, the complicated world of hip-hop and celebrity culture. The claims against Diddy, with whispers of wild, drug-fueled parties and exploitation, had everyone buzzing about power plays, consent, and accountability in the industry. Jay-Z's image as a polished businessman and devoted family man couldn't be more different from these allegations, which might explain why his camp was quick to cut ties publicly. A Guardian opinion piece even called out Jay-Z's dismissive tone, saying it echoed a culture of silence in hip-hop that leaves women and girls hurt. It pointed to how nobody talked about that mysterious female celeb who supposedly witnessed the assault, highlighting bigger issues in the game. This view found fans among those long critical of how hip-hop handles these kinds of allegations. As the lawsuits played out, the saga kept shifting. The Jane Doe case getting dropped and a leaked recording suggesting the story was cooked gave fuel to those who saw these claims as moves to squeeze money from rich stars. But many still questioned the power imbalances and just how hard it is to hold big names accountable. Then, in April 2025, a new lawsuit popped up. This time, Joseph Manzaro claimed Diddy relating to intimacy and humiliated him at a 2015 Miami party and said Jay-Z and Beyonce were there as witnesses. Jay-Z's lawyer Alex Spiro shut that down fast, proving Jay-Z was in New York on April 1st, 2015, not Florida. Manzaro quickly took Jay-Z and Beyonce's names out on April 11th after their lawyers provided the receipts. This pattern of accusations, followed by retractions or drops, only fueled the idea Jay-Z was getting dragged into Diddy's legal storm unfairly. His team stuck to the story, Jay-Z wasn't there, period. Courts seemed to agree, tossing or tweaking cases against him. Meanwhile, Diddy's still behind bars facing heavy federal charges, showing a sharp legal divide between the two. Jay-Z appeared to be winning in court, clearing his name, while Diddy faced a tough road ahead. With no face-to-face courtroom showdown yet, rumors about their bond kept swirling. Were they really as tight as years of public appearances suggested? Or was it mostly business all along, like Jay-Z's legal team now claim? The truth's probably somewhere in between, with the legal heat just pushing them further apart rather than exposing their true history. That rumored courtroom moment, summed up as, "You know what happened," might end up just a mysterious footnote in a messy legal war that revealed how fragile these high-profile friendships really are. Plus the wild power plays in showbiz and the struggle to tell fact from fiction in today's social media world. The truth, as always, is way more complicated than the headlines and viral posts. Hey, thanks for sticking with me. If you thought this story was wild, don't sleep on the other fire vids popping up on your screen now. They're just as juicy, no cap. I'll catch you in the next one. Stay woke. CNN, Jay-Z accused of raping a 13-year-old girl with Sean Diddy Combs in civil lawsuit. Fox News. Beyonce, Jay-Z standing solid through Diddy's legal storm? Not shocking, especially with all those cheating rumors swirling around. Hold up, hear that. That's one of Diddy's accusers finally breaking silence. This dude claims Diddy had him locked down like a prisoner, putting him through all kinds of twisted, disturbing stuff. We thought that was the end of the story. Nah, he dropped a bomb that flipped the courtroom upside down. He's saying Jay-Z and Beyonce weren't just bystanders. Nope, they were allegedly part of the whole mess. It's messy, it's wild, and it might just blow open a whole secret world of elite scandals. Let's dive into the shocking details. First up, the bombshell that sent the courtroom into chaos. Meet Joseph Manzaro, a man who filed a lawsuit against Diddy in April 2025, and he was not playing. Manzaro came with allegations against Jay-Z and Beyonce that had jaws on the floor. According to his initial complaint, he was at a Miami party in 2015 where things went from bad to worse real quick. Manzaro claims he was drugged and taken to Star Island in Miami for what was supposed to be Christian King Combs' 17th birthday bash. But this this wasn't some normal birthday with balloons and cake. Nope. Manzaro says he was paraded around wearing a humiliating mask, stripped down, and forced to wear wild, inappropriate stuff in front of a room full of high-profile guests. Who were these guests, you ask? Manzaro drops some heavyweight names. He says Jay-Z and Beyonce were right there at this freak-off party. Can you believe that? The music world's power couple allegedly witnessing all this madness? Manzaro says at this party, Jay-Z, Beyonce, LeBron James, and Gloria Estefan saw him in what he called a rare form because of what he was going through. He even shared what Beyonce supposedly said when she saw him. According to him, Queen Bey was shocked, saying, "Now, I don't know about y'all, but just thinking Beyonce might have been at one of these wild parties. That's straight up shocking. This is the woman who pumps out empowerment anthems, represents black excellence, and keeps her image tight as a vault." Manzaro saying she was right there watching all that? That's like discovering your strict Sunday school teacher moonlights on OnlyFans. It just doesn't add up. But hold on, it gets even crazier. Manzaro didn't stop at saying Jay and Bey were there. He went deep into graphic details about what allegedly went down at that party. According to his suit, after being paraded around, he was stripped naked and forced into wild attire. He claims they made him wear a tiny thong bikini bottom, a black leather mask, and a rubber gag forcibly inserted, then zipped up over his head. Sounds like a nightmare straight out of a horror flick. The accuser also says he was taken to a secret tunnel inside Diddy's Star Island mansion, where he slowly came to from whatever drugs he was given.